The windows jam up just about every day, so I'm going to, actually there's water in there. I don't know if these are exactly sealing from the outdoors, if they're allowing water into the RV. It sort of worries me. The seals are wet and swollen. I need to get them dried, and then I need to lubricate them. And I've used silicone spray lubricant in the beginning, which helped free them up. But I think it's the water laying in the lines that's causing this problem all the time. It's really wet. And I know there are drain channels, which I think I should clean out. I'll check them today. I think I'm going to get the air compressor going in here and try to blow out with, well, it's going to be awkward without making a mess, but I'm going to try to blow out those channels today. And I've got some wax birthday candles I bought at the dollar store that I'm going to use. Somebody suggested waxing these channels, and I think it might be a good idea to prevent the windows from sealing in here. So once I break free all the windows again today, I'm going to let them dry. It's supposed to be sunny today finally. I'm going to let these chambers dry throughout the day, and then I'll use my wax candles, hopefully, and lube that up. I'm quite annoyed that there are spaces developing in my tiled floor, and they're actually becoming quite wide. It's very annoying. I put down the subfloor to be extra sure. I put these tiles in nice and tight and close and careful. There were no gaps. And as I use the floor, that gap is getting really wide. This is really annoying. As I use the floor, the tiles are moving. What has happened is this glue actually didn't harden. It stays a flexible glue, and that's the stuff that they recommended at Lowe's. So I'm very annoyed at the outcome of this. I haven't even moved in and the tiles are spacing out and all in disarray already, which is frustrating. Look at the gap on this end. Now these were lined up. I don't know if that shows up well, the space there, how far that's moved outwards from the other tile. That's annoying. Just from walking in and out of here, and I don't wear shoes either. I go barefoot. So the stuff they gave me is junk. I mean, what point is it if your tiles move for the duration of your using the place? That could only get worse. My friend, the man of many things, was here the other day and left me some brand new safety goggles, which will help here with the off-grid projects. And my new Sawzall is going to come in handy with cutting this piece of metal off. This is the last spike. This is the last retainer from the seat belts that's still in here. I need to get this off. I hope I can do this easily. And then it's just going to drop down and stay there forever, I guess, because there's a tank. I don't know if it's a storage compartment or a gas tank down here, but whatever it is, it's hitting, and I cannot get it off. Not this way, anyway. I won't overheat it, so I'm going to do it in stages. It's halfway through. It's actually not hot. Quite amazed. Did not expect that. Oops. Whoops. Well, punched a hole in my wall. Well, there it is, the last piece. Out of my way. And that falls out. Okay, this is it. As of right now, I'm committed. I'm going to put the batteries in. I'm going to take the batteries that are running the RV now, which are just the 2 junkyard 70 amp hour batteries, and put them in the camper for my parents to use for running water and light, and whatever small amounts of electricity for shaving or whatever that they need. And the big batteries, the golf cart batteries, will come in here. I will install the fans and ventilation, seal the box from the outside, or seal the box on the inside so no air and gases can escape into my RV. I've got the floor swept. I have to plug these holes before I forget. I think the easiest, honestly, somebody said putting dowels through, but that would require yet another run to the hardware store and more money. I can trim some tree branches, or I can spray some spray foam in there, and I think that's the easiest deal. I'm going to put maybe a shot of steel wool and top it with insulation, let it cure, put down the carpeting. I've got the floor in here prepared. Well, somewhat. I still have little scraps of carpet and some nails and staples to remove here and there, which I will do after I bring the batteries out here. And tonight I'm going to sleep here. For better or for worse, I'm going to do it tonight. Fired up my trusty little generator. I'm going to vacuum the floor and in the battery box. Now right now there's no power at all. I've disconnected the batteries under the hood and everything's dead lines right now. And as soon as I have this compartment vacuumed, then I will continue with sealing everything off down here first. I want to seal off all the cracks and seams, all the corners and edges along everywhere. Make sure there will be no airflow and no gases can escape from this box. And then I still need to put on, I think I will do it here, I will put the air intake holes right underneath the inverter, where the inverter will sit. And this way it might help move some air around that inverter. And then the exhaust is over here where I had previously drilled. And I still have to put a screen on the bottom of that to prevent insects and mice from coming through. Stuff this hole here with steel wool, spray foam it. I have changed my idea, I think, where the heat will enter the RV. I think now it's going to be in the bedroom where the hot water heater was, because I'm probably going to remove the hot water heater, and that will leave me an access point for bringing my heat in. And it's central to the RV somewhat, so that might be better. And hey, what better than having a heated bed in winter when the heat blowing right through there? And that'll certainly prevent the water lines from freezing. And then I'll also be able to easily warm the bathroom area. So anyway, I'm thinking about that right now. I'm considering the heat is definitely an issue. A lot of people are thinking I am just lazing around enjoying the sunlight, but no. I give the heat a lot of thought, and I have a couple systems that I'm thinking about that I'm working on right now. I haven't decided which way I'm going to go, but I do still have a good month of warm weather before I necessarily have to use heat. I think in New York City, if you're living in the city, you're not required to have heat until October 15th by law. So anyway, That's not about me, but just to give you a comparison. Just a nice little bead all the way along. That's all I need to seal that tight. I'm going to put the air intake holes in here now. It's just going to be a series of holes in a row here. So that's for the air in, for the warm air to go into the battery bank. Now it's time to bring the batteries in. This was supposed to be temporary anyway here. I wanted to build a battery box to hold these outside eventually. I never did end up getting to it though, because I got the RV and knew I was going to bring it all to a close anyway. So I'm going to take off the inverter line first. I do like this method with the metal bar, which by the way, a lot of people were, oh, I got a scare. I don't know if you saw it on camera. Little gardener steak came up and said hello in my face. That got the heart pumping faster. Little booger. Curious little thing, I guess. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying, but oh, this metal bars, these metal bars that I was using as terminal strips worked out well. Some people said that it's not a good idea, but it worked for me, so hey. Now I have to disconnect the solar panels before I proceed, because you can damage your charge controller if you don't disconnect the solar panels before removing the battery power. Very important point. Well, these batteries are gassing right now. I can hear them gurgling. Getting a lot of good power coming in. I'll have to wash them before taking them in. A little bit of juice is coming out. So, I need a plier. This little guy keeps coming over and saying hi to me. Oh, there's another one. Crazy, look at that. Did you see that? Wow, they're fast. They're so fast. Look at that one. The little one is chasing the big snake. Gone under the RV, under the camper. Wow, they're fast. Snakes are almost freaky fast. I can't believe that. So I'm disconnecting everything here. There's no power in the camper now at all. All wires, all power, everything's coming out. And then I'll put the batteries, the new batteries are actually going to be in a better place. I'm not quite sure where yet, but I'll figure that out. The old batteries, I should say. The old batteries from the junkyard will stay in the camper. The only things I'll really have going on in the camper at any given time after my parents' visit will be the Bedini generators and some LED lights and maybe some small electronics and an occasional soldering iron. This will be the workshop after their vacation is over. This will just be the lab and workshop then. Yeah, mosquitoes are discovering that I'm here. The colder weather has fortunately reduced the mosquito population nicely. It's not as bad. I hear horror stories about people who are in a survival situation and they get literally hundreds, even thousands of mosquito bites in a night. And I can believe it, because if you have no protection and no shelter, these things are vicious. They will tear you up. Your dinner, and that's all they care about. The only thing I'm not sure about yet is where I'm going to put the solar charge controller inside the new RV. I want it at a convenient place to monitor it. I hear snakes again. This is Snake City today. It's like a convergence of snakes today. They're everywhere around me. I don't know if you can see that because of the sunlight. I'm getting goosebumps, honestly, everywhere. Look how fast. Wow. There's another. I just heard another one moving over here. Seriously, I got goosebumps now. That's just too many snakes in one spot for me. Ah. Wow. Shouldn't have any mouse trouble with all the snakes. Can't believe I've got mouse problems with all these snakes. That's 4 snakes. But man of many things wishes he was here right now. That's a bit of sarcasm. I know he doesn't like snakes. I don't necessarily like them, I just know that they're good because they eat the mice. Okay, all the batteries are disconnected. And start moving them in. Have to clean them first. These are 80 pounds a piece. Let's see, plus, I'm going to figure out which way I'm putting it in. Oh, jeez. These are heavy. Ooh. Really heavy beasts. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm going to have very short wires going to the terminal posts anyway. And eventually I'll put down some boards to stake the batteries in place, keep them in track, so that they don't slide all over if I ever drive this RV. Anyway, let me continue getting these batteries in here and you'll see what I have planned. There's the baby cat. Got her out where I'm working. Because she cries when she's not next to me and she's over in the other place. Well, I've got 4 of them in. That's, what is it, 160, 320 pounds right there so far. 320 pounds of batteries. I've got another 160 pounds to carry in. It's a lot of weight, but it's the reason I set it up in the middle of the RV, right behind the engine, where the framing should be the strongest, and why I put down another 3/4 inch thick piece of plywood to help distribute the weight down there. So hopefully it should hold up alright. Well, there we have it. 3 sets of batteries, 3 battery banks I should say. I'm a bit dizzy. It's 3 o'clock. Taking a lunch break now. I'm gonna wire these up. It's quite a job lifting these in here, but it's done. That's the worst part of the project. Connecting the battery pairs together right now. Minus to plus. Across the board, minus to plus, minus to plus. So I've got 12-volt batteries. Because each of these batteries is 6 volts. For those of you who's come in later and are not aware of that, these are all 6-volt golf cart batteries. Setting up the last pair here, plus to minus, to make a 12-volt battery. Okay, there's 3 sets making 12-volt battery banks, so I have 3 battery banks now. It looks pretty nice with those killer connections that Herbster Place gave me. Those are good. So now I'm going to connect the plus and the minus terminals across the board here, all across the length of it. I brought in my sine wave inverter. Yes, that is where it's going to sit. Reason being, I need to be able to see and monitor my equipment. I need to be able to keep it clean, and it has to be next to the batteries. Your inverter must be as close to the batteries as possible, or it won't work. I discovered that last time when my wires were too long. And if you guys remember and look back at my past videos, my inverter, I had a single, you can see I have doubled up the wires, and I was using only single half that, and I could not run my air conditioner. As soon as I doubled up those wires, I was able to run my air conditioner with no other changes in the whole system. So your inverter must be close to the batteries. Keep your wires short. And that's why it's going to be here. My charge controller is going to be very close to the battery bank as well. Probably right over here in this corner on the outside, so that I can monitor it easily, and also so that the wires from the solar panels can come up through the bottom here. Now I'm going to cheat a little. I fully intend to make shorter wires for these batteries now that I can, but right now I don't have much time left today, and because I have church tonight, and I work tomorrow at the office, so I'm going to use the existing wires that I have here for right now and connect them up to the terminal strips that I have made. I just have to get this going because I do plan on sleeping in here tonight. It's got to be done. It's got to be finished. Move these around properly later. These are stiff wires to mess with, though. So that's one battery bank. I'll do all the positives first, and then I'll come through and do the negatives next. Safe way to work. Right now there's nothing coming in or going out of this system. Now I do the positive, or the negative terminals. Positive in the front, negative is in the back. Well, the batteries are certainly going to have it better in a controlled environment than they were outside. Okay, there's one battery bank completed. The plus is hooked up. They're connected together, making 12 volts. The minus is hooked up. And I now have DC power. That's the DC lines. So the lines are now live. Now I just have to continue hooking up the other batteries, and then I can bring in my charge controller and finish the process. This has taken longer than I had thought. It's a lot of work moving the battery banks, so I won't get as much done today. I figured I might get the carpeting in today, but I do have church tonight, so I don't think... No, correction, I know that's not going to happen. Not tonight. Okay, there's my new battery bank, all properly installed. Now I've got to do the fan and hook up my inverter, my charge controller, my wires. Still got a long way to go. Figure I might as well hook up the inverter now. No point in waiting around. For right now I have a gap back here, but I will be sealing that off later. There will be no gas leaks in this place. I think I'm going to use styrofoam insulation in here to seal this off properly. So the negatives. Now, because there's high current on here, I actually have lock washers that I purchased at the hardware store last time I was there. So I've got some serious good connections on this thing. I've modeled this system on some things I've seen, some designs I've seen in professional solar installation manuals. This one's going to spark. They always spark when I put these ones on. Power inverters have such large capacitors. When you connect it, they spark with a scary flash. That one didn't, surprisingly. It's probably still well charged because I just unplugged it. Okay, now the inverter should happily turn on. There we have power. The inverter turns on. That's good. That's a good thing. So the power is working in here. Now I have to get the solar charge controller going and hook up the solar panels. Okay, I've decided the charge controller is going next to the inverter. The wires from the solar panel can run the extra length of the RV to come over to here to the charge controller, because I want to have everything in one spot. I've decided I'm doing it here. So Now I have to put some holes in. Hate drilling holes. It's got to be done. I have to put some holes in for the wires to go through. That'll have to be cleaned up now. But now at least my charge controller can be put up in its proper place. And all the wires can go through the new holes I've just made. And the carpeting will start from here over on this panel and then go down across the floor. I think it's going to be a very good RV. I think this is going to turn out very well, but it's my RV and I'm optimistic because it's turning out how I want it. Just wish it was turning out faster, but can't change that. I have the Tristar mounted right next to my sine wave inverter, so it will be easy to monitor, easy to see, and it will have enough airflow. And it will be right next to the battery bank. Very important that everything's close to the battery bank for best performance and for the least amount of losses in the lines. I've rerouted it's hot and humid, so I'm out of breath. I've rerouted the wires from the camper to the RV. Now this is some utility line wire that was out in the forest I found last year. And it runs out through the meadow and extends all the way around now and over to my solar panel array around behind my RV. And now I'm gonna run this wire. This is some old camper wiring harness that I had from an old camper that was the wire was just cutting in there, and this is going to be the inside connection over to the charge controller from outside up through the RV and through the battery box. So I'm about to do that next. Well, I don't like making extra holes in my RV, so the wires are going right through an existing hole. There it goes. through here behind the batteries and all the way to the end, because that goes into the solar charge controller. There it is. The system is working. Not sure why it's saying 14.6 volts, but when I first took this up the very first time ever, it showed a high voltage too. So I think it has to set itself. But anyway, it's pulling in 230 watts. It's charging the system. I'll show you exactly where this is. It's in the corner of my battery box, right next to the inverter, and for me it's not inconvenient to look at. I can maybe mount it up higher in the future, but that would mean extending some of the wires, and I just don't have time for that right now, and the system works. So I'm about to plug in the inverter and see if I have AC power in the house. That'll be amazing, and that'll be the last and final step to finishing the move out here before I put in the carpeting. Now I have this wire open, so I'm going to be very careful before I hook up that inverter that there's no shorts, because I still have not installed this 110 box. I haven't done it in part because the walls were leaking, and I'm not doing anything on this wall until I know what's going on here. So anyway, here we have it, the finished system, all installed properly and working nicely. I still have to hook up the fan, so first I need to find a screen for the bottom of that, but I'll do that next, and that'll be pretty much wrap it up for today's work. Once I try this inverter, I might as well try it now. There's nothing to stop me from plugging this in and trying it out. That wire is stiff. This was that, if you remember, this was that heavy wire that I made, or that I used. Very stiff wire. Almost wish I had a finer wire for that, but okay, inverter's on. It's doing its test. Once it's done with its self-test, then I'll plug in a light, and I should have AC power in the new off-grid solar-powered RV. Now to plug my lamp in, this is an AC powered lamp I have, and we have light. Now the inverter always made this funny noise. It's just more pronounced. Makes me nervous, but the inverter always made this funny noise. But it seems to work, and it's never caught on fire on me yet. So I don't know if that's a normal noise for this inverter or what. But it's hooked up, and it's working, and I have AC power, and that's a good thing.